We are going to be looking at how to decorate a 4-foot wreath. The first thing we do is we start with our garland sprays and wreaths book, and we will go through until we find the correct item that we're decorating. In this case, it's a contemporary 4-foot wreath. So I'll go to contemporary, and then I will go through it until I find the correct pull sheet. It will be a 4-foot wreath with a bow, and I would pull that out. I've already previously pulled that sheet out, so I'm not going to pull it out right at the moment. But when I pull it out, I'll take it and make a photocopy of it, and then as I make my kit, I'll cross off the items for the kit. When I go to decorate, I go ahead and I find my wreath that has the picture that corresponds to it. This is the 4-foot wreath with contemporary bow. I would take it out or just keep it open and use it as a reference point. So I will be doing that with this wreath. I've created my kit. This is it. I also, for the 4-foot wreath, have a 24-inch bow, and that's what we'll be putting on it. Typically it calls for a gold bow, but in this case they want a silver bow, so that's what we'll be putting on. So here is our 4-foot wreath. The first thing I do is plug in my wreath, which I previously have done, and the lights are working. When I go to put on the bow, I need to find where the plug is, and this is the plug right here, and I'm going to flip it over. My plug's still right up here at the top. I'm going to take my 24-inch bow, and these are the top side is the side with grommets. So I'm going to take and make sure that is to the top. My tail is coming down with my grommets on the outside. I'm going to take my wires, and up where there was the, show this, up here where we have the cord, we also have a bar that runs across here. When I bring those wires through, they'll go on either side of this vertical bar. Once again, grommets to the top. I'm making sure that these are on either side of that bar. I'm taking and pulling it in. Here's my bar. My wires are on either side. Okay, here's the bar. I'm going to pull this in tight, and then I'm going to bread tie it, or twist tie it. And just go around about 6 times. And I'm going to take and wind down, we'll flip over, take these grommets right here, and I'm going to take a piece of greenery, like so, and I'm just going to bring it through. I'm going to take another piece of greenery, I'm going to twist tie it again, just a little bit, so that it won't come out. Coming over to the other side, I want to make sure that I've got even look here, and I'm going to twist tie it. Now, before we actually start putting on the bow, one of the things that has previously been done with this particular wreath, as I have gone through and I've made sure there are no gaps in the greenery. Sometimes when these come out, you'll have a string of greenery coming around this side and coming around this side, and there'll be a big gap here in the middle. When that happens, we can just take 2 pieces of greenery and twist tie them together from either side to fill in those gaps. Okay, so now we have our bow on and we're ready to start putting ornaments on. At this time, what I would do is look at my picture, and I'm going to lay the ornaments on corresponding to the picture. I have my green at the top on both sides. And then I would have my teal sometimes as you're looking at the picture, depending on where your bow falls. So here we have our bow. This bow's stretched out just a little more. This bow is down a little bit more. So there's more ornaments on the top of the bow versus the bottom. I'm actually going to go ahead and move my tails in just a little bit so I can get a little bit more here on the top, and that will make it more consistent with the picture. But we often find that people don't do that, so it's good to show this process of figuring out, oh, I need to go in just a little bit more. And you can see that provides a lot more space here to do that. So I'm going to come over here, do the same thing. Where I bring my bow in much closer and the tails are just a little flatter. So I'm following my color pattern here where I have a green and a teal, and I'm going to have a silver down here which now fits very nicely. And I have another green right in here, and I have a silver right at the top. So you can see we have placed all the ornaments on the wreath according to the picture. Now what we're going to do is start tying them in. This is a 140. Anything over the 100, and this is a 100 or a 4-inch ball, 100 millimeters, this is 140 millimeters. These actually, we have to take this green wire and we're going to take it all the way through the wreath to the back, and we're going to twist tie it on the back. And I'm going to show this from the front, and then we'll have a camera that shows it from the back. So what I will do, I'm going to pick up my wreath here just a little bit, and I'm going to take and pass this wire all the way through to the back, and I can pull this down on the back. I have this wire that has come through, and now I want to make sure that this green ornament is pulled tight. So I'm going to find a piece of greenery that is not right next to it. So the wire has come through right here. I'm going to find a piece of greenery over here, and I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to take the greenery and I am going to twist tie it at least 4 times. When I'm done, I'm going to take and pull up on the ball from the top side and make sure that it is good and firm. And we're actually going to walk around and see that here. This ball is now nice and firm. Then what we have to do is we have to tie the rest of these ornaments as though they are hanging on a wall straight up for gravity. So this is going to the top, this is going to the bottom. We want all of our ornaments to hang top to bottom. So this wire will be on the top and the ornament will be on the bottom. If we hang it this direction and we tie it so the ball is at the top, what will happen is because of gravity it'll flop out of position. So we have to make sure that we always tie with our ornament to the top. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this ornament, I'm going to find a kind of a hole to dig it into here. I'm going to take a piece of greenery, and I'm going to take and right up next to the ball, I'm going to take and I'm going to twist, push it in deep, and I'm going to go around 4 times. And then I can kind of pull my ornament up. But after I've done that, because I've tied to the top and the ornaments to the bottom, I dug just a little bit of a hole for it to go into, it helps it to sit on the wreath properly. I'm going to do the same thing with this ornament here. This is going to the top. So I'll do this with all the ornaments, and I won't tie them all in and have you watch me tie every single one in. But we'll be taking this and we'll have our piece of greenery here, and I'm tying to the top. This is smaller than the 100, so it doesn't have to go in quite as deep. The smaller the ball, the more we leave it towards the surface so it doesn't get buried in the greenery. And I'm going to come down, but I'm still going to tie right at the edge of the ball, and I'm going to wrap it around 4 times. And then I can take this piece of greenery and tuck under it to have it stay up. Here's my wire, it'll come to the top side. and I will tie into the top side. Now I would go around doing this on each one of these. You can see on these, after they get tucked in and tied in, they're just going to be much more flush with the wreath than these that we've just set on the top. Down here towards the bottom, we'll be making sure that we follow the same principle of this will go to the top and these will hang to the bottom, and we'll put them in just as deep as they need to go in order for them to remain flush with the top of the wreath. So these right here, we don't want to set them in like that. We won't find them, but neither do we want them right on the edge. So we'll go down about 3 or 4 inches and we will tie those in. And once again, the wire is to the top so that gravity will work for us and not against us. 4 times around, and I'll tuck it under. So I do that with each one of these ornaments going all the way around after I've positioned them. Once I get these all tied in, I will place approximately 4 to 5 leaves on each side. I'm just going to lay them on first. Now we decorate the top part of our wreath more than the bottom. So when we're putting in the leaves, they just go to the top, kind of around this last pine cone down there. And we'll do the same thing over here on this side where we just place them on. Now, after I've placed on my wreath, my leaves, I will go ahead and tie these in. And to tie these in, we will do what we always do. We'll put a piece of greenery wrapped right around this section and a piece of greenery right down here. And we will take and twist it once around and once around. This might be easier to see right here on this one. We're going to take and twist once around on this section, and we'll float down here so it kind of looks like it's floating across, and I will wrap it once around down here. And I would do that with each of my leaves going around. Once we have done that, we are finished, and all we need to do is label our wreath and bag it so that it's ready to go.